Right, welcome everyone to the second Typical Boro podcast. We've got a busy one today. We've got a special guest, and we'll have another prize giveaway courtesy of our sponsor, Midas Cladding of Middlesbrough. Please, as I always say, I'm going to say this every week, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and give us a 5-star rating on Spotify. I can see out the corner of my eye, we've got the dynamic duo, Mr. Graham Bandy and John Cutler, with us again. You all right, boys?
Morning.
Morning.
Dicko. You all right?
You all right? Yeah. And also, we have a hero of mine and a special guest. Now, I'm going to give him an introduction because he deserves one. He was a Golden Boot winner in Scotland for Albion Rovers. He's had 3 promotions with the Boro. He sits 6th in the all-time top scorer charts with 147 goals. Not 46, Bernie. I'm going to count that goal.
Get it right.
147, yeah. He's been capped 7 times for the Republic of Ireland, despite being Scottish. And he's also part of it was the country's most popular football phone-in for years and years and years in the Three Legends. It is, of course, it's the Wolfman. It's Bernie Joseph Slaven. Welcome to the podcast, Bernie.
Yeah, thanks for inviting us. Yeah, how are you doing? Morning, Wolfman.
Brilliant.
We're all right. Yeah, good.
I'm going to start off, Bernie. We've got a fan of the podcast called Neil, and he's been dying to ask you this question, but he can't because he lives in France now. But he watched you back in the day. But he wants to know, because he's a big fan of the Smiths and Morrissey, the same as yourself.
Yeah.
And what he wants to know is, when you first come to Middlesbrough as a player from Scotland and you come down, were you a fan of the Smiths then, or was it something that happened when you come to England? And was any of the other Boro players big fans of the Smiths back in the day?
Well, none of the players were fans of the Smiths. I don't think they'd heard of the Smiths. They were into Luther Vandross and Mays and George Benson. But what introduced me to the Smiths, I was 16, 17, and I was working for the council cleaning gardens part-time football. And one of the lads used to pair up to here, dyed jet black, like Don King, I mentioned it, but Don King hairstyle, makeup on, and sort of a rouge, and more a sort of, it looked like 8. And I thought, this kid's got some balls. 17, 18, walking about the streets of Castlemilk, that was the name of the council estate. I thought, wow. And he was singing this song, let me get my hands in your mammary glands, let me get your head in the conjugal bed. And I thought, who sings that? Well, I went, who sings that? He went, the Smiths. And that was me. I went back. Back then, you had to buy a record, or you wouldn't hear it on the radio. And anyway, I bought a Smiths record, and that was me. They did come to Middlesbrough, but I was so homesick at the time that I never seen them. And I went back to Glasgow every weekend. But they were playing in the town hall in Middlesbrough. But yeah, that's how I was introduced to the Smiths. And no, none of the lads were into the Smiths. They were all bleached blonde hair, into Bros and all that crap. So, yeah.
Bernie, I'll have to remind you that we're also on the Red Radio, so we'll have to watch our language on this podcast.
Well, you don't want to do that. I'll see you later. Bye. Hey, hold on, it's not PC one.
Brilliant. I'm going to come to cuts. On last week's podcast, we discussed the team that was going to play against Stoke, and we're all discussing the front four. And to be fair, we all went for McGree, Izaz and Doak. You guys went behind Conway. I was more going for Lat, because I'm a big fan of his. And we got what we wanted on Saturday, didn't we, boys? What do you think, Cuts?
I was happy with the lineup. Obviously, shame about Conway. Came out late. I think his rumours he's got a hamstring injury. And Clark as well. I haven't seen much about Clark. I don't know what was up with him, but he's been fantastic as well. Yeah, I was quite happy with the team, to be fair.
Bandy?
Absolutely delighted. I mean, everything we called for last week on the podcast, it came to fruition. Desperate to get Riley McGree back in the team. He's that little wizard on that left who can leap up and bring in Izaz. Izaz is perfect in that 10 role. And I've been dying to see Doak unleash, because, in my opinion, Jones has been way off the mark this season. So it was great to introduce Doak into the mix, and I thought he was absolutely quality, particularly the first 45 to an hour. And then obviously he got substituted on, 70 minutes, just because he's not had that many games. But it was brilliant. It's exactly what we want as fans. We want to see players get on the ball, front up your man, and go for him. and he had the left back on toast. I mean, the left back must have wanted to come out for the second half, but it was brilliant. It was a catalyst for everything that was good about us yesterday. So, long may that continue. I think we touched on last week about the team trying to keep a settled team now, so we get them little passages and rhythms of play in that final third. Because that was the only concern for me, is the play in the final third was letting us down. Everything else sort of clicks into place, really. Midfield were brilliant. Anthony had his best game for me this season. Great goal. Morris did what Morris does. His quality, who dictates the tempo of the game, plays at his own pace, and defensively, I'm not too concerned whether it's mixed up, because obviously losing Clark was a bit of a blow, but Edmondson was a capable deputy. Erling can shift across, and Dyke still did well at right back. So, yeah, great performance.
Yeah, I think Azaz as well in the number 10 makes a big difference. Instead of being stuck out on the left, he hasn't got the pace on the left-hand side, but you stick him in the number 10 role, he seems to come alive. So, yeah, I think we got that one right last week. Bernie, I'm going to come to you because obviously goal-scoring legend yourself. We were discussing last week the Lat situation. Bandy was sort of steering towards the sides of he hasn't been the same player since the links with Ipswich Town, hasn't looked the same on the pitch. I sort of slightly disagreed by saying I think he still works hard and he puts the yards in and works the channels, and I was putting it more down to Middlesbrough's tactics rather than Lat's own performance. What's your take on Lat this season compared to last season, and since he's had the link to Ipswich? How do you view his performances so far?
He's been inconsistent, but the team's been inconsistent. The team's never been the same. Every week he chops and changes. He's playing with a new striking partner who was missing yesterday. He's trying to form a partnership with him. On the wings, he don't get anywhere near the service. I mean, I thought him hit his best pack when it was a settled team week in, week out, with Gills on one side and get forward, get the balls in. He's not done none of that this season. But I think when you get chopping and changing your team every week is not good for the centre forward. And the service, for me yesterday, I definitely would have dropped Jones yesterday. I'd have dropped Azaz and probably Hackney with the performances so far this season. Hackney, no doubt, has had a rocket with his performance yesterday, because that was the Hackney we know. The goal was a wonder goal, and I'm delighted for the kid. He's not been at it. Last season, he missed the last 3 months of the season, whatever, by injury. This season, he's not hit the ground. He's been poor. He's been away off. I would have replaced him with Gilbert. I know Gilbert's injured, but if he was fit, I'd have put Gilbert and then went, Hackney, you need to fight for your place, son. Azaz, he's classed as an attacking number 10 or forward-thinking player. He's not scored a goal. If you don't score goals, you end up out of the team. So Azaz has to start scoring goals, or he's not contributing, because he's not creating, he's not scoring. That is an issue. I think his work ethic is great. I think he's an honest guy. He has to score goals, or create goals, to stay in the team. So the original question, Lucky Laugh, I think, is still, work ethic's amazing. He's still sharp, he's quick, but the service is poor. And this, when you're a fan, you watch the players in the ball. When we fanny about the back, I call fanny, and I'm not apologising for that. When we fanny about the back and pass it to the right and to the left, the fan isn't watching the front men. The front men are having to do shuttle runs to try and, whenever eventually they think, oh, we'll play it now, so they're working their backsides off for nothing, because we just fanny about the back. We didn't yesterday. We did it quicker. They looked like Middlesbrough yesterday. They fannied about the back. Ben Gibson and co, I was thinking, what are they doing? They're getting beaten, they're still doing it, and that's what we've done. It was a mirror image of us. And by yesterday, we should be thankful we played Stoke City. If we can put in a performance like yesterday against West Brom, then brilliant. Well, it's a big test. Big test. Stoke were garbage. Let's not.
When I used to watch you back in the day at Ayresome Park, and you had Stuart Ripley down one side or John Henry down the other side, and they would beat the man, and the first thing that they would do was put the ball in the box. They would whip it in, and whether it was yourself or Wilco trying to get on the end of it, how would you feel playing today, Bernie, in the modern game with the service now? You seem to have these inside forwards where a lot of the time they're coming inside and looking to shoot, or they're not getting to the byline like they used to back in the day. How would you feel about playing in the modern game with the service? How it's changed?
See, Jones, I would strangle Jones. No, I would. I would be pointing the finger and I'd be telling him, you better get the ball in the box. I'm the guy to deliver the goods, i.e. the goals. Your job is to serve me. Because I'm the best player at the club, I'm the best striker at the club. You can get the ball to me, and vice versa on the left. Ayling, being a vastly experienced defender, he should be, when he gives it to Jones, he should be saying to Jones, I don't want it back. Keep giving me it back and I have to play it square. You get turned and go at him. So his experience should be telling John, I don't want the ball back. When I give it to you, the intention is get by your fullback, get the ball in the box. But Jones, when he first came in, breath of fresh air, direct, fearless, skillful, scored goals. I don't know if it's been coached out of him. And he's been told, keep retention of the ball. And I'm not a fan of that. Doak yesterday, Bandy said, Doak came on yesterday, long overdue in my opinion. He got the ball direct, step over, do a trick, get the ball in the box, score the goal. Very good. That's what we want off wingers. No messing about wrong areas and passing it back. You're there to do a job, and your job is to deliver the goods and the ammunition for the centre forwards. And if you're not doing that, you're failing.
He's fearless, Doak. He's fearless. He's a young lad, and he just wants to get on the ball and get at people, which is what Jones, like you said, used to do. And I like that, and I hope it's going to ignite Isaiah Jones to go back to doing what he was doing a couple of years ago. Like you say, it seems to get coached out of them these days. I'm looking at Mika Hamilton, who's come in from Man City, and I haven't seen anything from that lad yet. He's the same. He seems to want to get the ball. He wants to give the ball sideways and backwards and play the simple ball. When he's come to the club, I was expecting him to be like what Doak is and want to impress and get past people and get down the byline, and that hasn't happened yet. So, hopefully he'll get better, but I haven't seen nothing in Hamilton either. I'm just going to put this stat in now for you guys, just because of what Bernie's been talking about there. I've got to have at least one stat, as you know, boys, on a podcast. Ben Doak yesterday against Stoke, he played 71 minutes. And what I've done is I've put his stats against Isaiah Jones from Sunderland the week before, who played 62 minutes. So on Saturday, Ben Doak had 74% accurate pass rate. Isaiah Jones had 82, which was slightly better. But on the big stats that count, Ben Doak created 4 chances, Isaiah Jones 2. Ben Doak had 2 shots on target, Isaiah Jones none. 2 shots off target for Ben Doak, none for Isaiah Jones. Ben Doak scored, obviously Jones didn't. He put 2 accurate crosses in out of 5 to Isaiah Jones, 1 out of 3. Then he put 1 accurate long ball in, did Doak, to Isaiah Jones, none. And he won 2 tackles to Doak's 1. Now, they aren't massive differences in the statistics, but at this level, that's what counts. That's what counts. The extra shots, the extra crosses, the more shots on target, the more shots off target. And I think on Saturday against Stoke, that was a big difference. Just by taking Isaiah Jones out of the team and putting Doak in, it made a huge difference to how Middlesbrough performed in that first half. Do you agree, Cuts?
I think for me it was his positivity. Every time he got the ball, he was looking to go forward, either take the man on or pass the ball forward. There was none of the back passing to Ayling or side passing, which takes us back. He was really positive and he looked pacey and tricky. Did everything he tried came off? No. But I don't mind wingers trying a trick in the last third of the pitch and losing the ball, because ultimately that's what they're there for, like Bernie says, to get past the full-back, create chances for the centre forward. He was like a breath of fresh air for me yesterday. But I don't want to throw Jones under the bus too much, because I'm a big fan of Jones, but he has been poor this season. We all said that we would have took him out yesterday. But like Bernie says about Azaz, if he's not going to get goals or assists, could we play McGree as the number 10 and have Jones one side and Doak the other? Maybe Doak's positivity will rub off a little bit on Jones, and I'd like to see that for him to get back to where he was before.
Yeah, I agree. You've just mentioned McGree there as well. Funny enough, we're all big fans of Riley McGree. I'm sure Bernie is as well. Bandy, what was your thoughts on McGree yesterday coming back into the team, and what's your thoughts on him sitting on the bench for the last 2 weeks while we've been struggling?
I was alluded to them. There's been an issue with McGree and Carrick. I don't know why. When he's had opportunity to play him, he's been fit for quite a while, and he's been on the bench for too many times, my opinion. But I was just relieved more than anything that he was in the team yesterday. And as soon as he comes back in the team, everything lifts a little bit. That final third was so much more cohesive, dynamic. There was movement. As soon as Riley gets on the ball, you're thinking, right, okay, something's going to happen here. Whether he can, he's not the sort of player to drop his shoulder and get a cross in. He's not got the pace to do that. But he is an inverted winger, on that left-hand side coming in onto his right foot. And, ideally, he set the goal up with his shot. He got a terrific shot off on his right foot. Keeper parried it and Doak was there to mop it up. But I think Riley can play across any position in that final third. I think he can play as a 10, popping balls through for whether it be Lath or Conway, plays on the last man, using his pace to get beyond the last defender, or he plays on the right and he can sort of come in, again, like an inverted winger, but use his favoured left foot. So as soon as Riley was named in that team, I thought, right, we've got a chance to win this game now. Like I say, I think he just needs to stay in the team, whether it's left as a 10 or right, just keep him in that team, because it does give everybody a lift, not just the rest of the players, but fans as well. It's probably the most technically gifted, along with Doak now, player that we've got at the club, I think. He's just an intelligent little player, and a massive loss when he doesn't play. Just touching on Jones again, like Coach said, we don't want to chuck him under the bus, but when he came on yesterday, his mindset was different. I think he'd watched Doak and thought, right, that's what I should have been doing for the last 6-7 games. And it was a bit of a wake-up call for him, really. He probably got a little bit complacent, think, I'm undroppable. I'm the first name on the team sheet on that right-hand side. And little kick up the backside for him, I thought, because his first touch was decent. Then he tried something positive with a little 1-2, and then he went on an amazing run. He just ran out of legs at the end, and it finished with a weak shot. But the propensity for him to attack yesterday was there. But I think that comes from him sat on the bench, getting splinters in his backside, watching his replacement. So he's got a lot to do as Johns. But like Coach said, there is the option of trying him on the left. Again, going back to that awful term, the inverted winger. But he can come in on his right foot and try and get shots off. But I don't think you're going to displace McGree at all, because he's definitely one of the first names on my team sheet. I think he's quality.
I'm just going to you, and Bernie, regarding Riley McGree. I agree with Graham, what he said then. You'd be one of the first names on my team sheet as well. What's your thoughts on Riley McGree sitting on the bench for the last 2 weeks while we've been struggling, and then suddenly appearing on Saturday and playing 76 minutes?
I find the whole Riley McGree thing over the last season and this season strange, very strange. Last season, I think he played 24 games, 12 of those were coming off the bench. He played against Swansea, started this season. We never seen him again yesterday. Last season, he came off, I think it was 3-4 games at the bounce, which I thought was unbelievable. For me, McGree's the best footballer we've got at the football club. He's got a great leg peg, he can score goals, great goals. He's a fit lad, great work ethic. He's an international player. He played in World Cups. He's the best player we've got. There was rumours that possibly he wanted away last season, whatever reason never happened. It may have been pure rumours and built. Sven. But for me, McGree should always be in that lineup when he's fit. But the amount, we're talking about fitness, the amount of injuries we've got in Middlesbrough Football Club, I have never seen one player getting taken off a stretcher and we all go, "Bye, that's a bad injury." They all jog off and we don't see them again. So whatever's happening at training, all these fancy facilities are dietitians and psychologists and these fitness freaks. It's not working. In my day with 13 players, the first 2 years, 70s never missed a game. These guys are falling like flies and they're not even getting tackled. It's a joke. It's an absolute farce. And yeah, I don't know what's going on, but the amount of injury. But McGree, back to the initial question, McGree should always be in the team. And when he's in the team, we're a better team, without a shadow of a doubt. And you were talking about what was you were talking about? Stats. Look, if I'm midfield and I'm passing 10-yard balls side on, that's classed as, I could get 200 of them now with my suit on. That's a nothing ball. I'd rather guys that try to pierce a hole in the defence, get behind him to create a chance for his teammates. That's the stats we want. Nobody's squared balls. You can do it all day. You can do it until you're 90. So stats for me, the only stats that matter is scoring and defending, keeping clean sheets, scoring goals, and getting balls in the box for the wingers. That's the only stats that matter. All the rest are a load of junk.
Just a quick one on Riley. Bernie will be able to answer this, being an ex-player. There's been rumours about him having a bit of a fallout with Carrick.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have signed a new contract, would he, if he didn't get on with the manager?
Well, I wonder if he's getting 20 grand more. So that's about here. Look at 13 McGree as well. It could be in, as soon as a club comes in, you get more money at the minute, we'll get more money when you go because before your contract. Both are happy, I think, with the contract. That doesn't mean McGree's happy on the park. And McGree might still have intentions of wanting away. And why shouldn't he? He's a very good player. And if we mess him about, then the odds are he won't go. But that's what we are. We're a selling club. We're a business. I think we've made that transparent recently. I think, as far as I know, Steve Gibson, the chairman, had a meeting with the fans, you guys, at the club, and more or less says that. You know, players do well, we move them on, we get the money in. We're Middlesbrough, we're no Man City. We have to keep churning over money and bring money in, because I no doubt we've reduced the wages over the years. We've let the big hitters go. We've paid peanuts for guys to come in and younger lads. And as soon as they do anything, Rodgers is a prime example. Rodgers was only here 6 months. We made treble the amount of money cashing in. Was it the right decision? As a fan, no. As a businessman, without a shadow of a doubt. Oh, the business.
It's my biggest fear, though. If we continually sell our best players, we just got to finish 12th every season. So there's nothing to aim for, really, is there?
I agree with that as
this
well.
season, I think Gibson's got a little bit of a glint in his eye this season. He's obviously thought, right, we're going to be hell-bent on keeping our best players, and we're going to give it a good shot. Let's hope we can keep them at Christmas time if anybody comes in.
Well, what you're saying,
transfer window.
I do my social network. I said a month ago, more than that we would sell one of the best players the day before the window closes, and I nearly got it right. Lucky Laugh was off. I think the club made a statement saying, oh, we didn't have a replacement. Do I believe that? I'll be honest, no, I don't believe that. I don't believe that for a minute. It must have fell down, Lucky Laughs, what he was getting. But I don't believe for a minute. We'd have got rid of him in a flash for the money. And then the window closes and the cash gets put away. Happened with Rodgers, happens here.
It'll be interesting to see if we're still in the mix of Christmas time in the top 6 and anybody comes calling again for the Vandenbergs or the Latiolats or the Hayden Hackneys. That'll be the test for me of Steve Gibson's ultimate ambition. Yes, you know, we don't know the exact truth of the Latiolat deal. Gibson's getting a lot of plaudits at the moment for not selling him, keeping the big players, which he said he would, to be fair. Kieran Scott said he had Gibson's word that he wouldn't sell the big players, and he hasn't. So for that reason, we've got to give Steve Gibson a lot of credit. He has backed Michael Carrick this summer as well, which is great. We brought a lot of players in again in the summer. But I think the ultimate test will be in January. If we're in the top 6, that'll be the test of how ambitious Steve Gibson is. And that, like Bernie was saying there, you still sort of think if a big offer comes in, they'll be off.
So next, Proslav, how would you feel if your teammate sort of let it leak that he was potentially away on the last day of the transfer window?
Listen, it's a massive blow. Everybody loses. Your teammates lose when somebody goes. Your teammates lose. The fans lose. Carrick loses. The money men gain. The most important people, the fans lose. And these fans, and there's loads of them, they act like accountants. Oh, it's great business. No, it ain't. It's all for you as a season ticket holder. If they sell the best players. It's good business for the football club, I get that, but not for you as a fan. You pay to watch the best players. And if we sell anybody in January, and I agree, January's, there'll be, if players continue or flourish and do the business out of January, there'll be clubs in for one or two of them. And if we sell, the statement of intent to get in the Premier League disintegrates and disappears. That's your biggest thing. You're right, January is the key now. Because the window closes, opens January, and if we were to let any of the better players go, the statement of intent goes out the window.
That's why I think we need to be as high up the table as possible come January. We need to be in that top 2, 3 area just to keep players and give them that hope that promotion isn't too far off. If we're languishing 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, then the onus is on players to move on. Because they'll think, what's the point,
I hear the same rhetoric for guys like you, Bandy, my little artist friend, about the mighty Boro. This is the season. We're going to do it this year. Yeah, we've brought great players in. That's the players we don't even know. We're saying boys who we hardly know, and yet we've put them in pedestals. But I hear every season, this is the season. We've been once in 15 years in the top flight. Stop the talking. Let's do the business. Let's get players in. Let them settle. Get behind them. Don't sell anybody in January. And let's try and really reach for the Premier League.
That leads us nice in, Bernie, to my next point, actually, I was going to make. You've almost set us up for a tap-in. I'm so pleased that you're on and you've went from jumping on the fence to not sitting on it as well, by the way, Bernie. It's great to hear. But then the next point I was going to make actually was Middlesbrough's ambition. You've seen the players that have come in. We've still got a lot of players missing with injury. Fry, Lenihan, Force, Johnny Howson, Tommy Smith to come back from injury. I've listened to you recently on your own podcast and stuff, Bernie, and I've heard you being critical of Middlesbrough's style of play. Does your head in this pass, fiddling about at the back, which a lot of teams do. Yeah, fanning about, which a lot of teams do. After watching her for the first 7 games, where do you think we're at, Bernie, in terms of pushing for promotion? I've just heard what you've just said to Graham there, saying, you get carried away, and we've brought players in that we don't really know, and you've heard it for 15 years. What's your ambition looking at the team this season, Bernie? Where do you think we can finish?
I said start of the season, because there'll be left, that we could finish top 6. And of course we can finish top 6. But now we've got a 28-man squad. My day with 13. 28-man squad. You need to keep them all happy. Carrick needs to keep them happy. And I think it's difficult to please people, especially if you're not playing. You get the odd one upsetting the apple cart in the dressing room, whatever, and moaning and groaning, and that's not good for morale. Carrick needs to get his best team. Carrick's best season was his first season. In the limited squad, he kept the same team, and we were the best football I've seen in 40 years at Middlesbrough. That was the secret. Same team. They were telepathic. They all knew the roles. Akpom was on fire. Gilles was getting the service on a plate, and everything was hunky-dory. Good to watch, vibrant, and got the results. Except when we went to the playoffs, and that's when Carrick started messing the team about. Before we got the players we played, looking away, he dropped Akpom. Akpom, what, with 28 goals, you're resting him? No, get him in there. But once he dropped him, we never recovered for that. So that was the best season ever. Last season, 7 games without a win, garbage. Then we started hitty missy, did well, peaks and troughs, turbulent. And then we didn't make it last season. This season, I refer to our style of football this season. It's like, Bandy, you're going in, I know you're a married man now, son, but you're going with you've got a new bud, Gerald. You don't be calling bud in England. You get a new woman. You see, I'll take you out for a meal and a drink. Get the good suit on, the tie, the new shoe, polish the shoe, butter Duke. I used to wear that in the Boro, but after meet up with a bud.
You still wear it?
A 4-course meal, candlelit dinner, the champagne's flowing. You go back to the house. You're looking at the bedroom, she's looking at the main door and says, see you later. That's what the Boro's like. All glamour, fur coat, no knickers. We do all that, and we don't deliver. And I want to see penetration. No, not on the field. Penetration. I don't want all this glamour and messing about. Let's do the business. Glamour's good, but the end product's better. And that's what we want. So that's not a layman's way of describing how we play.
This is a good time. I'm just going to bring in here, have a break, and just have a think about what Bernie's been saying there. We've got a prize draw coming up. Midas Cladden of Middlesbrough have again given us some prizes to give away, and we're going to give away 2 tickets for the Sheffield United game now on the 23rd of October. So there you go, Boro fans. 2 free tickets for Sheffield United up for grabs. All you have to do is follow us on X, the Typical Boro Pod, and retweet our prize draw tweet. That's all you've got to do, and you'll be in the draw to win 2 free tickets for Sheffield United. Can't say fairer than that. Right, Mr. Cutler, you've got a few questions for Bernard, I hear.
I have, yeah. Just a couple of quick ones, Bernie.
I promise
What
I
was the
answer
best-
your questions. Go on.
Best goal you ever scored?
I don't think I scored any good goals, but goals that meant something. The one that comes to mind is, well, there's a few, but I'll just name one, was relegating Chelsea. Scoring in the playoff final at Erson Park. It was a Wednesday night. Big Trevor got the first and I got the second, and that turned out they scored down there. So we beat them 2-1, relegated them, and yeah, to do it against Chelsea. I've never liked Chelsea, and that was me the greatest feat, scoring against Chelsea. So yeah.
Best manager you played under?
Lenny Lord. No, I talked to Lenny now. Lenny's fine. So, no, no feelings towards Lenny. No, Bruce Ray. Bruce Ray, we nicknamed him Gaddafi behind his back. He was ruthless. He was a dictator. Some of the lads were really actually frightened of him, the younger lads. But I loved Bruce Ray. He was great. He was great for the team. He was great for myself. But great motivator. And what Bruce Ray did, I say this when I do talks, what Bruce Ray did is better than Sir Alec Ferguson won in the league or Mourinho won the league. He had a group of local lads, born and bred in Boro. I was classed as the foreigner for Glasgow, Archie Stevens for Liverpool and Brian Lloyd, whatever. The rest were local. They wore the shot with pride. They didn't kiss the badge. But going 3rd, 2nd, 1st after liquidation, bankruptcy was an unbelievable achievement. And it's unique. It'll probably never happen again. But for me, that the younger generation of Boro fans should never forget the history of the football club. And if you don't know the history, go and check it out. I always tell the younger people, I know the history of Middlesbrough. I've been here nearly 40 years. I know about the great councils and Cloughs and Fentons and Manions. I know them all. I know the history. And the younger generation should know the history. Because without the class of 86, every one of them could have left the club and departed because we weren't getting paid. If this lot today weren't getting paid, they'd be off like a shot. We all stayed there, or the majority, vast majority did. So that
I've got one more question. But seems though you're mentioning Bruce there. When we got the Zenith Cup final in March 25th, 1990, I think we lost to West Ham either 2 weeks before or a week before, and Bruce got sacked.
Yeah.
How did the squad feel about that after what he'd done for this football club?
Do you know, we talk for myself, the squad always said was a silence, but we were training at Maiden Castle in Durham then. And I remember Bruce coming in. We were told Bruce was coming in to see us. We don't know what it's about. And Bruce came in and told us all he was sacked. I mean, I could have quite easily dropped down. I was thinking, hey, God, he's the guy that's created my career here. Wally Madron initially got dressed and got me in. And I was forever grateful to Wally. But Bruce had developed my career. So, yeah, I think the majorities were absolutely gutted and distraught. This is a guy who took his 3rd, 2nd, 1st, got to Wembley for the first time in the club's history, getting sacked just before Wembley. So, yeah, I think we're all on a downer.
So last one, another one of my early memories. I think it was a Tuesday night at Ayresome Park against Ipswich.
What?
A certain right back got the ball to take a penalty, and it was taken off him. So
Right.
the clean version, what went on in that conversation between you and Parky?
Well, I'll tell you, but just talking about penalty, he's bringing it up to speed now and then I'll go back in it. Lucky Laugh handed the ball to Conway. If Conway asked me for the ball in my prime, I'd say you can get it. You only walked in the door, son. I'm the top boy here. I'm the goal scorer. I ain't giving you the ball. I'm taking it. But Lucky Laugh went, oh, there you go. Maybe Lucky Laugh thought he was leaving. Anyway, it was 2-2 in the Premier League. Ayresome Park, is that Tuesday? Like you say, about your superior knowledge. So Gary Parkinson, and if you're religious in any way, please keep praying for Parky. He's still in a difficult position. So Parky has been out for a few games injured. I've not scored for a few games. So it's right in front of the Holgate end, last minute of the game. So I says, right, give me the ball, Parky. And he says, oh, I'm the penalty taker. I said, I'm the goal scorer. And it's to and fro, and then I eventually won the argument. And I remember putting it down, looking into Holgate end, and I'm looking at the right-hand corner, and I've placed it, and I think it's out somebody's Boro, right into the Holgate end, and all the fans are shouting, yeah, Scottish, whatever, they give us dogs. And I remember getting in the dressing room, and I went to Parky. I told you should have took it. I apologise. I apologised to Parky many years ago. About 20 odd years later, I apologised. Yeah. I had the balls to take it, but I missed it. It was crap. Yeah. I hold my hands up. Garbage. Yeah.
Bandy, you got any memories?
I know Bernie's mentioned his best goal was the Chelsea goal at Ayresome Park, but for me it was the Zenith Cup goal against Aston Villa. I know his hero, Sir Bruce, mentioned that one as his favourite Bernie goal as well, but it's also mine. It's just the way he sort of shuffled it across onto his left foot. He had postage stamp size of the area to put it in, and he put it in top corner. And it was a vital goal as well. Tollgate end, majestic memories, absolutely brilliant.
One of mine was Old Trafford in the League Cup semi-final. What a night that was.
Yeah, that was
Absolutely ram-packed behind the goal. And without a world-class save from Schmeichel, I think it was from Willie Falconer's header,
It was,
we could have won that night. It was what an unbelievable night that was.
And the guy that scored the winner for United was Ryan Giggs. He hit his shin.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
So I know you're good mates with Pally. Did you have any on-field banter that night? Because you played against him.
No, one of the things, and I don't get it, I look back at last week, I was at Sunderland, I went to the Stadium of Light, and I've seen Boro players, kicking players and lifting them off the ground. In my day, you'd have stood them when they were down there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, looking at Man United, Pally's my mate. I socialised with Pally. I still see Pally. I still socialise with them. But when we played, and I played against Man United 3 occasions, I did tell Pally I would score against them. I only get 2 out of 3, but that's for another day. But Pally, I would not talk to him in the tunnel. I would not talk to him during the game. He knew my deficiencies and I knew his. I knew he was quicker than me. I knew I was fitter than him. I knew I could take him on and get by him. I knew I had no chance in the air because he was 6'4". But no, the answer is no. I never spoke to Pally until after the game, and then we would go and have a back track and try and wind him up. I remember we went to the Cup. It was a nightclub in the outskirts of Middlesbrough years ago. And there was me, Curtis Fleming, and Pally. Pally went to Man U. Curtis had a few drinks. And we're meeting Man United on the Wednesday. This is a Saturday night. And Pally's going, we're big Man United. We're going to give he's winding us up, but I'm not drinking, so I'm cool with that. Curtis wanted to knock his head off. He had the boxing gloves on. Right, calm down. But anyway, so the answer is never spoke to any player that I played with when I played against them until after the game.
One of my memories, Bernie, of yourself was I was proud to beat your last ever goal at Ayresome Park against Manchester United in front of the Holgate end, and I was there to watch you slot the ball past the best goalkeeper in the world at the time, Peter Schmeichel, like he was nothing. Absolutely fantastic. And my greatest memory of you watching you at Ayresome Park as a young kid, really, was I always say when I'm picking a man of the match, my man of the match is always the game changer. So against Stoke, it would have been Ben Doak, because he was the game changer for me.
Yeah.
These players that get man the match now, like you said, for doing 100 passes and this, that and the other, you, for me, were the ultimate game changer. The number of people out here giving you stick in the crowd.
Yeah.
Bernie's not doing this. Bernie's not doing that. Bernie's offside.
Where's my family?
Get it. Get him off. Get him off.
Yeah.
And the number of times I smugly left the stadium after my hero Bernie Slaven scored the winner late on, or walked away with 2 goals in a 2-0 victory, and they'd say, but that's all he'd done.
Yeah.
Well, that was always enough. That was always enough for me, Bernie, and I thank you for that. You are tremendous.
Yeah, I just think with people, the thing is, I used to class as a lazy bee, a lazy so-and-so. I was the fittest man at the club. I think, lads, I was number 1. Me and Gary Gill was number 1. I'm a liar. I was second. I looked after myself. I was fit, super fit. But I wasn't, people might think I was daft because of the offside rule. No, it's because I was slow. I had to live on the edge. I couldn't, if I had the pace of Triori, I could have sat back in the defence and the ball over the top, I could have got there. So, but no, I was fit. I didn't run anywhere and everywhere like a headless chicken. A lot of players do that, flattered to deceive. We've got a few then. The goal never moves. And I always wanted to do my work in and around the box. I didn't want to start getting dragged everywhere. At the end of your career, they look at your goals. They don't look how many miles you've run or how many tackles you've made. So, yeah, whatever.
Football's changing now, Bernie, and it's not about partnerships for the forwards. So you played with some good forwards in your time.
Yeah.
Hendo, Paul Wilkinson, Ian Baird, Peter Davenport. What makes Beardy stand out for you? I've seen on many occasions you say that he was your best partner that you played with.
Well, he was because he accepted me as a goal scorer. Beardy was a goal scorer, but he accepted me as an out-and-out goal scorer. And he would feed off that. He was totally different from me. He was the same height, but he looked bigger. He was stronger, more aggressive. I used to go deep into the number 10 role and he'd say, wee man, you push up there, get the goal, I'll sort these 4 out. And he did. He was crushes. He was mental. And a nice...
Fearless, wasn't
he? He was tough as old boots, without a doubt. But going back to the modern teams don't play with 2 up top, they play number 10. Do you know what it is? I would love to see a manager that's different. Coaches, they're no managers, coaches. A coach that's different. With every team, no matter if they're in the Premier or the 4th Division, they all want to play the pet way, pass about the back. They're not good enough to do it. We're not good enough to do it. We do that. Defensive corners, every player in the box, no outlet. My day, you 2 up top, which means you have to put 3, 4, including the goalkeeper. But no, we all put every player in the box. And when it comes to top competitions, we all abuse it. We've won 1 trophy in 150 years. We abuse it. We get beat 5 at home against Stoke City, youngest ever team. So for me, there's nobody thinks any different. We're all like figures in the coaching world in England, and none is doing anything any different. We all play 1 up top, number 10. We all put 11 players in the box defensively. We all drop players in the cup competition. It's boring. Nothing different.
Do you think 4-4-2, Bernie, going back to in the day, do you think 4-4-2 today could still work in the modern game? Because I had a conversation with my dad just the other day, right? Going back to your day,
yeah.
And we used to watch Robbie Mustoe and Jamie Pollock in the middle. You'd have Henry on one side getting chalk on his boots, Ripley going down the other, you and Big Will go up the front causing havoc, and you'd had Stephen Pears in goal and this, that, and the other. And me and my dad were saying after the Sunderland game, that side would murder the team that we're watching now, absolutely murder them. And I don't care about the tactics. I think if that team playing 4-4-2 against that Middlesbrough side at Sunderland would have absolutely murdered them. What's your thoughts on 4-4-2 and playing that way now?
Well, it's still 11v11. Of course you can play 2 up front. No crime. Everybody's just sheep-like figures. I would play 2 up top. I'd get 2 good wingers at Middlesbrough, 2 up top. Big man, small man. That's what I was brought in. And a wee before my time, I used to watch like Kevin Keegan and Polchak. They were the prime example, big man, small man. And that's the way I would go. I'd play 2 up top. and I would go for it, be fearless. Fortune favours the brave. And a lot of the times we're not brave enough as a team. And a lot of teams aren't brave enough. Of course you can play top. People kid you that the modern game changed. What way? Mollycoddled, spoiled, giving the riches before you do the business. Yeah, I just think the modern game, the more people tell you things, people start believing it. Well, I'm not one of them. I don't buy into this modern philosophy that it's a better game. Is it a better game, really? Messing about the back for 10 minutes is better. They would have you believe that modern players are the quickest players in the history of football. Martha McDonald, I'm up from the legends, a Newcastle great and Arsenal great. Why all country could be an Olympic sprinter? There's always been pace. There's always been fitness. There's always been tactics. Now we overdo it. As I say, we get dietitians, psychologists, sports scientists, load of garbage.
Well, that's my dad's thoughts as well, Bernie. My dad thinks exactly the same.
And people say the older manager like a Warner or a Wilder or a Dinosaur, a load of old boys. If you want to bring up to the modern game, you just look at the computer or look at your phone and you get every detail, tactic, whatever, to bring you up to speed. So those people say, oh, he's a dinosaur. It's a load of ants.
Well, I think any fan over 30-year-old last week watching that game against Sunderland, last 10 minutes would have been shouting, get it into the box. Might say it's dinosaur football and all this rubbish that they come out with these days, but we had Bergzorg in the middle. What we'd done for 80-odd minutes hadn't worked. Get the ball in the box. You never know if it's going to fall to you. Why we didn't do it last week, I'll never know. I just think it's... managers look at it and say, oh, I can't be seen as someone who's knocking the ball long. You do what gets you results at the end of the day. It's a results-based business.
I spoke last week about Carrick potentially mixing it up, and we scored a great goal against Preston by what you could perceive as mixing it up, where Ailing feigns to cut in, he goes right, and he pings a beautiful channel ball to Conway over the top, gets away, and he scores a great goal. So sometimes when we're playing teams who do play a high line, like Stoke, for instance, yesterday, I mean, they were all over the shop. They played such a high line, we could have just put balls over the top and used that as space to get on the end of them. So there is room for mixing it up and pinging balls into the box. But it has to be a channel ball rather than just a punch. You've got to sort of look for a player to make a run and then get it over the top, rather than pass side to side, trap football, which we've seen far too much of. Going back to Bernie's point about 4-4-2, it is possible. Yeah, of course it is.
Yes, it is.
The other thing we've not got in Middlesbrough is leaders, is people that point the finger, people that roll the sleeves up, people that shout, and I don't see anybody moaning, or if I'm in the middle, as I said earlier, and Jordan's on the right or whoever's on the left, and I'm not getting the service, I'm going to tell them we seem to have an acceptance. Oh, we can't shout. It might be classed as bullying. That's probably the thinking. Load of old torch as well. But it's healthy. You know what I mean? Debate and shouting and is healthy in society. You're not allowed to do it
is
these days.
Yeah.
I seen McGree do that on Saturday, actually, when I was delighted. Doak got the ball and he cut inside in the first half and he blazed it over the bar. And there was a pass on for McGree just to slide McGree across the box to score. And McGree gave him a rollicking. And I was delighted to see it because we don't see enough of it.
No.
And I agree that at Sunderland it was absolutely embarrassing to see the lack of leadership, the lack of people calling each other out. You know, it's a derby game. I just could not believe it. We've got local lads on the pitch as well who know what it means. And we're a team, I think, that's lacked leaders for a long, long time. I mean, you could argue for Lenihan, but obviously he's out injured. Howson to a point, but he's out injured. But the team that's going out at the minute, definitely, you're right, Bernie lacks leaders. So we're going into Tuesday night now, just to get it back to Michael Carrick's side. We've got 2 difficult away games now, and lack of leadership obviously is a bit of a worry. But we've got West Brom, who are top of the division, and we've got Watford next Saturday, who are 7th in the division and are going quite well. Just beat Sunderland on Saturday. What's your thoughts, and what would you be happy with points wise coming back from those 2 games? I'll go to you, Graham, to start.
Ideally, you've got to set your stall out and go and try and beat these teams. There's no point going to West Brom and think, "Oh, a point will do." You've got to go there and try and attack them. The way we play, we're capable of getting between their lines and putting them away. But they're a big, strong, physical side. We never generally get a result there. But they're starting to change the way they play now. They've got, Corberan in charge. He likes to play the ball on the floor. Again, play through the thirds. So it might suit us. I don't think West Brom are going to sit back and allow us to impose ourselves upon them. They'll try and do that to us. So it could be a surprise game, actually. It could be a surprise result. And
they play the same formation as Middlesbrough, Graham. They play the same formation. They've got Josh Madger up front, and they've got John Swift, Fellows, Jed Wallace, Diagana. They've got a lot of attacking options to play in the 3 behind. So I think it could be a game that might possibly, like you've just said there, suit us, because we're going to be both having probably a bit of a go at each other. Do you agree?
It's a good matchup, absolutely. But we can't just treat that as go there with fear because it's an away game. Treat it as, we want to try and lay a glove on them first. Don't just sit back. Get at them. Take risks. If you take risks, you sometimes get rewards. So I think we should go there with a solid game plan to try and attack them from the off. And just be vigilant at the back, because they will try and pick us off, but we can pick them off as well. So it could be an edgy game, a close game.
What would you be happy with out the 2 games, Graham, points-wise? Would you take 3? Would you take 6? Would you take 4? Obviously, you'd take 6, but would you be happy with 3?
Target
2?
would be 6, but I'd be disappointed with 3. 4. I want 4 points. A win in the draw.
Cut. Just before we talk about West Brom, condolences to the family and friends of the fan who passed away sadly at Hillsborough yesterday following his team. It's really, really sad news. But going on to the game, for me, I think if you win 1, lose 1 from your away games all season, you're going to be in the mix at the end of the season. So I'd take 3. I'd be obviously delighted with 6. And for anything less than 3, I'd prefer to win 1, lose 1 and get 2 draws. I know you're not losing, but you're getting more points. So I think 3 points would be a decent return out of 2 games.
Bernie, what you thinking going into these 2 games? Are you confident?
Confident, not overly confident, because we've only played 1 real team of any substance, and that was Sunderland, and we failed miserably. The other teams, if you could have cherry-picked teams to play against the start of a new season, it'd have been the ones we've played. Sunderland, they had only been beat 1 game in about 5 when we played them, so that was a big test, and we failed. If we go to West Brom and get all 3 points, then that for me is a statement to say, hey, we've done the business away from home against a decent team. They get beat Saturday, didn't they? But they're number 1, aren't they? So if we were to get, hey, you always class a 1 point away from home as a good one, but if we could get 4 points out of 6, that'd be great. 6 would be a dream. But my gut is we're capable of getting 4. I don't think we'll get 6. But 2 draws wouldn't be the end of the world, as long as we don't get beat 2 games.
Yeah, can't disagree. I'm a bit like Cuts, to be fair. I'd probably take 3 because 3 is better than 2, and it's all about points at the end of the day. But in terms of momentum, after beating Stoke, it would be nice to get through the next 2 games unbeaten, just for confidence. Sorry, Graham, what you want to come in?
Generally, say promotion team, you're averaging 2 points a game, so you've got to be looking at 4 points. And anything less is the same as failure. Really, you're just going to fall short. But just touching back on lack of leaders, is it fair to say that Carrick's personality has been stamped throughout the team? It's not a criticism of Carrick, it's just the way he carries himself in public, his general aura, and also the way he used to play the game. He was quite casual, he never panicked, he was quite methodical. He sort of plodded through midfield, but did it with such composure. But he's quite a quiet character himself, isn't he? So maybe that's why we're lacking someone with a bit of vocality, a Roy Keane type, an aggressor, a Ledbetter. Someone who's a little bit nasty.
Ledbetter's at the club though, Graham. Ledbetter's on the coaching staff, as is Jonathan Woodgate. Would they not be that guy?
Yeah, but
Would be.
Ledbetter's a quiet lad off the park. Really quiet.
Yeah.
He led on
it's
it.
What we need.
But when you're off it, I just think leaders. As a good point Bandy made, Carrick's demeanour is cool and calm and collective. I remember interviewing Chubarakpom, well, before he left, when he was in after the 20 league goals he scored. And he enjoyed that type of management, Carrick style. And I think the modern player enjoys that style. Me personally, I would enjoy it. Carrick wouldn't get me going because he's too calm. Ten Hag, dear God, he is boring. Ten Hag, wow. One lose or draw. He'll be gone by Christmas, by the way, Ten Hag. Anyway, it's about team managers. Fergie, man management. Obviously, in Pally's mate, I know Man United lads that playing under Fergie. Poor coach, great man manager. Brian Clough, great, not a good coach, great man manager. It's man management, how you stroke egos, how you put people up the arse. It's that getting people motivated. You should be able to motivate yourself as a professional, but if you can't,
well said,
coach, stroke manager has to do it for you. And if you're super cool and say, come on, let's put it in a day, is that good enough to get you going? You need a rock up your jacksie, that's what you need. And there's managers or coaches out there to do that.
We're talking about leaders on the football pitch. I mean, you can go back Ince, Keane, Vieira, Tony Adams, John Terry to a certain extent. Is it something that's going out of football? Not just this club, like out of football in general. I watch games now and I don't really see any players from any teams rollicking their other players.
Yeah, you can lead by example, obviously. That's the old cliche when there's not a verbal guy shouting and bawling, they'll say, oh, he leads by example. That's fair enough, but to get your players going, it's the rollicking you need to give them. It's a verbal, but I just think in modern society, I don't think a lot of players could accept that. I really don't. I mean, we're not in the research used to get players up against the wall with a net. Can you imagine doing that now? You'd be sacked overnight, gone. History. I quite liked watching somebody else get strangled. I wasn't happy if it was myself, but yeah, the shouting and bawling and throwing books, and I'm all for that. If you need to get wakened up, I'm going to waken you up, and it doesn't matter how I'm going to do. I'm going to waken you up for the team.
Particularly enjoyed the Man City Arsenal game last week because there was an edge to it. There was a bit of needle.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Players were getting aggressive. They're in each other's faces. Yeah. It reminded me a little bit of that old United Arsenal rivalry with Fergie and Wenger, chucking the pizzas and Keano, Vieira, going at each other. I think for me the Premier League's become a little bit too sterile. It's all about what you want to call tippy-tappy football. So it's nice to see players flying into each other and trying to not deliberately hurt each other, but just leave a bit on somebody. That's what
you're going to get. Let's go back to the Sunderland game. I played in about 10, 11 derbies against Newcastle and Sunderland. It was like going to war. You're playing against this team who you despise. You knew the importance of a derby game and how much you meant to the fans and how much you meant to you. And you despised them. After the game, you shake a hand. But during that game, you'd be picking anybody up or sorry, mate, or you'd be giving them it and doing everything. The dark arts, as they call it. We'd be doing that. I mean, Gary Hamilton was very good at it. In that position player.
What a player he was, by the way.
He was tough as old books, Hammy.
Hard as nails.
Guys,
as well,
unfortunately, it's all we've got time for this week. I wish I could go on another hour talking to Bernie because there's loads more I'd like to ask him, but unfortunately, it's we're out of time. I'd like to thank you all for coming on the podcast. Bernie, much appreciate you coming on. Hope to get you on again.
Thank you.
Love to get you on again.
Good luck.
Great pleasure.
The podcast.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you very much. Right. Thanks for everybody. Please subscribe. Please like. Give a 5-star ratings. And remember, don't see a typical Boro anymore, Boro fans. Please watch it. Please listen to it. And we'll see you all again next week. Thank you very much. Cheers.